when it comes to phone sales, this dude is the freaking rock star in the space. Okay, like he is, and he's going to share some stuff that we should just like. I should have at least paid you to sit there today because of the value you're about to give. Okay, and I've got $300 bills over here, so depending how well he does, we'll see.
Okay.
I can tell you though, he's going to drop some nuggets. He's going to drop some. Gurbikian's back. Okay, welcome back to the CA Power Players podcast. Every single Tuesday, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, we drop one. Today we got a special super power player in the house, Greg Gurbikian, the Medicare rock star. Dude's shot like 48,000 hours of video since he's been here the last couple days.
No, it's been you get kind of used to it though. It's when you start. We talked about a little bit earlier about momentum, and just when you get momentum, you just got to keep. You gotta keep going.
That's what I like about you is dude, you see something and then you really commit and you just go all in, right? Like we talked about 3 feet from gold this morning in the meeting. I want to really cater this episode to phone sales tips for agents. When it comes to phone sales, this dude is the freaking rock star in the space. Okay, like he is, and he's going to share some stuff that we should just like. I should have at least paid you to sit there today because of the value you're about to give. Okay, and I've got $300 bills over here, so depending how well he does, we'll see.
Okay.
I can tell you though, he's gonna drop some nuggets. He's gonna drop some gold. I do want to promote his book, Sell the Problem, Not the Solution. You can get it on Amazon. I saw you can get the paperback for like $13 or something.
12.
Right?
Yeah.
You can get the audio or the Kindle for like $4 or $5, right? Which is cool. So check it out. Sell the Problem, Not the Solution. Why? It's got a big old phone on the front. Dude's always talking about phone, right? He's always talking about phone sales. Why this book in relation to phone sales? Like, why'd you write this? Because you've been doing the phone thing for a long time.
Correct. I mean, I've done phone sales as well as in person. So we had that conversation yesterday about, is it easier to sell over the phone or is it easier to sell in person? And in person, obviously, you're able to see the facial recognition. You're able to see their body language. Yeah. But what I've learned though is in phone sales you can do the exact same thing. That's the crazy thing, is that you can do the exact same thing in phone sales. So,
That's kind of a myth. So I'm glad you're bringing that up.
Yeah, it's
for most people.
Because you know why? It's because in phone sales, the problem is that most salespeople treat it as a transaction.
Yeah.
And in person sales, it's not always treated as a transaction because it's very personal, because you're in front of somebody, you're talking to them, you're trying to engage with them. It's sometimes a little bit harder for them to walk away because you're in person. Yeah. But you can do the exact same thing in phone sales, though, is you don't make it a transaction. It's a relationship. And so, what I did, and we talked about a little bit yesterday, is that if you're to be successful in phone sales, you have to view that other person as a real person. And that's the key to phone sales. I mean, I can't make it any more simple than that. Like, I mean, if I'm talking to you over the phone, Cody, I'm trying to visualize who you are.
Yes.
I'm trying to visualize what you look like. I'm trying to,
that's a whole nother level.
It's a whole nother level, and that's that rock star mindset. So you ask why the book? It's having that rock star mindset of being able to visualize who you're actually talking to. And we talked about yesterday. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if I was talking to you over the phone. I'd never met you before.
I'm curious.
What would I see? But you know what? You know what I would see though? I would listen to your voice. Yeah. And that's the key, because as you listen to somebody's voice, and I've said this before, and it's it's not an arrogance thing because it took time to develop it, but I could tell within 30 seconds of a phone call if I could close that individual. So I always preface it by saying...
You could close me all day, bro, by the way.
Okay. Well, closing and selling somebody is two different things. Closing somebody is the idea of being able to get them to continue the conversation. So I do, I have a whole thing on my Medicare Rockstars page about objections, because I think that's the biggest thing in phone sales, is that in order to be a rock star salesperson, you have to be able to overcome objections. And where do most objections come? At the beginning of a phone call. Yeah. Because it's not in person. So you have to be able to overcome those things. So when I say, can I close the person within 30 seconds, I would know within 30 seconds if I could close you. Now, do I have enough information to know if I can sell you? That's a whole different story. Ooh. Because I haven't moved over into the qualification stage.
Yes. You're still in what you call the connect.
The connection stage. Yeah. The compartment of connection. So we talked about it yesterday, is that there's 4 compartments to me. Connection is the first compartment. The second compartment is qualification. Yep. Third compartment is the presentation performance.
Yep.
And the last compartment is the close. So in order to be successful, you got to really master that first compartment, which is the connection part.
Yes.
So during the connection part, I'm listening to Cody's voice. I'm trying to visualize who he is. And I'm listening intently to every word he says, how he responds back to me.
Yes.
What he says. If Cody's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, Cody's unsure of himself right now.
Which part of those, out of those four, do most agents that are working the phones struggle with the most?
They struggle with the first one.
Connection.
The connection.
Yeah.
Yep, because their mind is already going into the qualification stage or the presentation stage.
Yes.
They're already thinking of features and benefits of selling something to somebody, and they're already in the third compartment. And when you do that, you're going to lose. You cannot be consistent that way. That's a very transactional type of sale, and it's just not going to work.
Yes.
I mean, you'll get sales,
right?
Because you'll get the right lightning will hit. You got the right person, right time, right everything.
Sure.
Somebody will buy something because
Sure.
you were the 7th, 8th person that called them and told them the same company that other people had told them. So
yeah. Is a lot of it timing?
No, I don't think so.
Good.
Absolutely not. Good. No, it's not timing at all. And one of the things that, I talk about in the objection, when you're getting objections, is that there's two forms of, there's two ways to respond to an objection. There's the logical way and there's the emotional way.
Yes.
So what I always do is when you're getting an objection over the phone, is the first way that you respond to that objection, you respond logically.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you want to just move that conversation forward. You just want a quick logical thing. Let's move forward. If the first response doesn't work, guess what you got to do? You got to go to the emotion. You have to go to the emotion at that point.
Yes.
And that's where if you want, where does success come for me? It was understanding that 85% of buying is emotional. That's it. 15% is logical. So you want to hear the big boom right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the big boom. Is that why do I lead logically in an objection response versus emotional? Because what I say, 85% is emotional.
Yes.
15% is what? Logical.
Yes.
So why am I going to respond back initially logically when that's only 15% versus 85% emotional?
Why do we do that?
So here's why. Because I'm not trying to close you on the objection. I'm just trying to move the conversation forward.
Yes.
I don't have enough information. I don't have enough of a connection with you. So I'm just trying to quickly, logically, because I need something in my back pocket.
Yes.
I always talk about it, I talk about it during trainings all the time. And I view it like arrows in a quiver. If you unload all of your arrows out of the quiver, guess what?
No more arrows.
You're in trouble.
Yeah.
You got nothing out back there. So I'm going to leave the most important arrow at my disposal so that I'm able to protect myself and be able to go ahead and move forward and be a killer.
Yes.
A sales killer.
Yes.
So I want to lead logically on the first response. And if that moves it forward, great. I'm good.
Right.
Because I'm just trying to move the conversation forward. I'm not trying to go ahead and, you're not going to say something, you come out with me an objection. I'm not going to say some magical word and you're going to go, wow, that's great. What do you have to sell? I want to buy it right now.
Done. I'm in.
But most salespeople think that way.
Yeah.
Because they try to close them.
They want the perfect phrase.
They want the perfect phrase to go ahead and close them on the initial objection.
Yes.
And so I'm trying to change that mindset. You don't close them that way.
That's a good point. So instead of trying to close them immediately, what you're really trying to do is just literally bypass, you probably have a different word, and keep them on the phone.
Yep. I'm just trying to move the conversation forward.
Yeah.
Because guess what? As long as you're talking what's happening, I still have a chance.
Correct.
Yeah.
It
goes back to that Dumb and Dumber movie. I still have a chance.
Telling me I have a chance.
You still have a chance.
That's right. Yes. That's the 250,000 I owe you. I owe you. You're going to want to hold on to that one.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good. Well, which objection do you think agents struggle with the most early in a call? I'm curious what you guys are thinking, by the way, too. You feel free to comment and let us know, or share this and let us know what you're thinking would be your biggest objection. And let's see if Greg hits it right here. Okay.
So I think the biggest one that sales agents struggle with is I don't have time for this. Can you call me back later? That's the biggest one. Because you know what? Because I think generally human beings, when you get them on the phone, don't want to be rude. We don't want to be rude to people.
No.
I think inwardly, every one of us have a soft spot.
Yeah.
That's where the emotional comes in.
Yes.
I've been able to turn around some of the most stubborn, most nasty individual. Why? because I was the greatest salesman or I was the greatest, no, because I was able to tap into that person's emotion.
Yes.
And that's the key. So I think when somebody says, can you call me back later?
Yeah.
The agent goes, well, they're giving me a chance.
Yes.
They're not saying no.
Yeah.
They're giving me a chance. Okay.
What do you think of that? Naturally, when you hear that.
It's an absolute blow off.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have picked up the phone if you didn't have time.
Correct.
So what happened was
I love that, by the way. Yeah.
You want to pick up the phone. So it goes back to, I'll tell you a quick little story.
Okay.
But let me answer that objection real quick because
Yes.
most agents will go ahead and what they'll do is they'll initially go to, okay, what time's better to call you back? So what did I just do, Cody, when I said that? What did I just say when I said,
I mean, you just gave them all the control and realized the call's over. You kind of admitted defeat, really.
Right. But I also did something even more important.
What's that?
Is I went ahead and said, my time's not valuable.
That's good.
My time's not valuable.
Yeah. Whenever you want.
Yeah. So
good.
if I called, and this might be a bad thing, but if I were to, if the president of the United States were to call me, that might be a bad example.
Okay.
But what I say to that person, or somebody in high power. Okay, let's maybe use somebody else. Somebody in high power, but to that extent. Okay.
Right.
If they were to call me, would I say, I don't have time for this right now. Can you call me back later?
No.
No, that's not happening.
Yeah.
You're lucky to have me on the phone with you right now. You know what my time is worth. You know what I mean. I just called you out of the blue. So
it wouldn't matter if you loved or the president or not.
So you're right. So any president that would call you, whether you agreed with them or not, you're still going to take the call.
Correct.
And you're still going to respect the office.
Yes.
No matter what it is.
100%.
Okay. So 100%. in that aspect of it, because I've seen that happen too, and I've seen other things where a president calls somebody that did not like that person, but they still were respectful.
Totally.
Because of the office.
Totally.
So that's what you have to be as a salesperson too.
Yes.
Is when
Dylan didn't realize that this episode was going to get so political. That's good. No, I'm just kidding. Now you would, Dylan. You're right.
You're right. So so in that aspect of it is when I looked at it from this standpoint is this, and this is looking at a whole different mindset, it's a whole different level, and that this is where the book goes into it, and why I wrote that book was because you have to take yourself to a different mindset. Because there's a lot of opening acts out there. There's a lot of lounge acts. Okay,
Yes.
There's very few rock stars, and if I can turn one person into a rock star because of that book, I've done my job.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope it's a lot more. Okay.
Yeah.
But if I can change, so it's going to an aspect of, so when somebody would call me and somebody would tell me they didn't have time. Okay. I went on a whole different level, and here it is. This is going to blow your audience away.
Okay. Let's do this.
I would say to myself, the universe sent me this person for a reason. I can't dismiss it. So if I dismiss it, I was telling the universe that they didn't matter. And so I looked at every call that way, and that's really making it a unique experience. That comes down to the whole rock star mindset. What does a rock star do? Are they some of these rock stars out there? Are they the greatest singers on the planet? No. They put on an extremely unique experience.
Yes.
That changed it. Okay, so I looked at every phone call as a unique experience. So that allowed me not to look at it as a transaction.
Yes.
It made me look at it as a personal thing.
Yeah, because you bring up a good point. Because if they could be the greatest singer in the world, but if they just sit there on a bar stool and they never move and they're not entertaining, I don't want to sit there.
No.
No matter how good they are at singing, they've got to keep me entertained.
You're going to walk out.
Yes.
And that's the same thing in phone sales.
Yeah.
Because guess what? If you're not making you're not making that call unique to you, then at that point going forward, they're going to walk out. They're going to walk out.
Yeah.
And so you've got to engage that person. So when I looked at was this, is anybody that picked up the phone that talked to me, okay, I would tell myself this: the universe just sent me this person for a reason. I don't know what it is. Okay, it could be that they need help.
Yes.
But it could be something even more than that. You ready? Could be to make me better.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I always say this: my greatest sales calls I've ever had are the ones I've never closed. How powerful is that? How powerful is that?
That is powerful, because you'd think the opposite.
You'd think the opposite. The greatest sales phone calls I've ever had, the ones I never ever closed, because what I did was, after that phone call ended, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday, I reverse engineered the phone call.
Yep.
I said to myself, where did I go wrong? When that person picked up the phone and said, I don't have time for this, and then they hung up the phone, I started thinking to myself, what could I have said to have kept them on that phone for a couple of seconds longer? And then I would work on it.
Yeah.
Next time that happened, I'd be really quick, and then it would work. And then I would
Yes.
start using it more and more and more.
Yeah.
And so that, the look at every phone call as the universe basically
Yeah.
sending you somebody to either help out
Right.
or to make you better.
There was one thing you said one time that I loved when someone was like really upset at the beginning. They're about to hang up, and you said, "Hang on, shut your mouth." Just kidding. He didn't say that, but that would be freaking hilarious if he did.
So that's a Step Brothers thing. I like that one.
I saw a picture of that last night. Someone was like, I love that. Yeah. I'm a movie guy. So
Yeah,
it's
no,
funny.
I do that with my wife sometimes. I'm like, shut your mouth. No, shut your mouth. And she knows what I'm talking about, or else I get slapped and punched across the face.
Exactly. Yes. And she knows you're kidding.
But you have to have a little humor too when you're doing it.
You do. And you seem, on that note, you brought something up last night on our Rising Stars Mastermind. Okay, that's a private coaching call we do every Monday. You need to be on that if you're not. Greg was one of our co-hosts of that last night because I'm bringing industry leaders and rock stars on that every Monday. And you talked about getting someone to laugh.
Yep.
Getting someone that emotional connection. And if I can get them to like laugh or chuckle, or I can help the emotional bond a little bit, there's a really good chance I'm going to help this person.
Correct. Yep. And that's that's the key. So I mean, it's trying to find that that
it's not about product knowledge at all with that either.
No.
That's what's cool.
And I'd say some of the stupidest jokes sometimes. I'd be like, that was so stupid. And then they would chuckle because they were probably like, yeah, that was really stupid.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah.
That's all I needed was just that, it's that it comes down to now that you're a movie person. I can't remember what movie it was where he walks up and says, how much does a polar bear weigh? I think it was Wedding Crashers.
Oh, I love Wedding Crashers.
I think he walks and goes, how much does a polar bear weigh? And he goes, enough to break the ice. It shakes the
That's
head,
right.
I
think that is in that movie.
So that that's so stupid. But guess what? You're laughing. I'm laughing because it's so stupid.
Dylan's smiling back
it's
there.
So stupid.
We start getting movies involved. He's going to want to jump on the mic too.
So somebody's being rude to you. Like, you could do something that stupid. Hey, let me ask you a quick question. How much does the polar bear weigh? What the heck are you talking about, dude? Like I'm trying to get you off of my phone call. Like I'm like, hey man, Cody, it's just enough to break the ice. So hey, and then boom, you go right into it, and then all of a sudden they're
so
still
good.
talking. It's like then all of a sudden
That's so good.
This guy is cool. This girl is cool. I don't know if I'm buying from them yet, but this guy's kind of cool. This girl's kind of cool. I'm going to keep that conversation going.
That's really what you're trying to do with an objection, by the way, is you're just trying to get them to continue on the call.
That's it.
Almost get them to forget they even had an objection. Right?
Correct.
And that's the same thing with some humor, because that happens, and the last thing they're going to think is, I told him I wasn't interested. No, they're going to be like, this dude, what is going on here? They would be confused. It would almost like throw them back, but it's a good thing because it's going to take their mind off of what's going on.
So, I learned this, when I first got into sales, a guy that I kind of credit for, helping me in my sales career, he was bipolar. Okay. So he was off.
Wow.
And so, when he took his medication, he was okay. But there's a lot of times, when we deal with people that are bipolar, that a lot of times when they start doing good, it's just any type of issues that when you think you're doing good, and it might lead into something else here for us. But when you think you're doing good, then you stop doing what you should be doing.
Yes.
Okay. And I did a whole video yesterday about not being comfortable in sales.
Yeah.
Because when you're doing good, you get comfortable.
Yes.
And what do? You start telling your mind that you're quitting, and you don't realize it. And that's the key thing, is being able to realize that, when I start getting comfortable, what I'm telling my body is that I'm quitting. And guess what? I might not realize that I'm doing it. But he was so off that he would say some of the most stupidest things and it would work. And then I was like, okay, that's working for him. He's crazy, but he's selling like a machine. It's because he was able to connect with people with humor. And then
how does someone get better at connection? So if they're like, man, I'm kind of awkward, I'm an introvert, I'm not really good at making people laugh, I'm not that funny, like they're telling all themselves, which isn't good either. You're telling all themselves this, right? But how do they get better at connecting with others?
Practice. And that, I'm glad you brought that up. So something that I've done even around you. And I've got a couple other your people here. Yesterday,
that's right, Greg.
Somebody beat me. I think Landon actually beat me to it. Is that One way that someone can get better. So that was a great question you just asked. Nice. So how can somebody get better? Start addressing everybody that you run into by their first name, because that now starts changing the conversation. So
Greg, that's a really good point.
Example, because that'll get you out of your comfort zone. Because guess what? You get in an elevator with somebody. What do we typically normally do? We get in the elevator. We kind of look at the floors. Hi, how are you doing? Then we just kind of go on.
Basic. Have a good day.
Yep. Have a good day.
Please leave ASAP.
Yep. Exactly. So this morning, getting in the elevator, coming down. The girl that was in the elevator, I jumped in there. Her name was Trisha, and I jumped in the elevator, and I could have just sat there, going down 4 floors and going, good morning.
Yes.
Walked out, nothing. So I found out in that conversation with her, she's from Iowa. She's here on business, but she's not here on business. She works remote. Her boyfriend is here on business, so she's here with her boyfriend.
Got it.
So we talked about it. And I said, I'm here for a couple of days. I'm actually going down towards Nashville today. And, when we walked out, she went her way. She said, hey, have a great trip. I'm like, you too. I'm like, well, not you too, but we normally always do that. You too.
Yeah.
We have a safe flight. You too.
We do. We're like, they're not even flying.
Yeah, they're flying. No, so.
Yeah, someone in the restaurants, safe drive home.
Yep,
yeah,
you too.
You too. Like, I just started my shift.
Yeah, I live next door. But so that's how you get good at breaking the ice. Start, because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Getting in the elevator this morning, it was early. Did
you have your coffee yet?
I did have my coffee. I was at the gym this morning, so I had all that stuff. So I had the energy going too, which was great.
That's great. But that helps a lot too. That makes the comfortability factor, the awkwardness, that much easier.
Right.
Once my energy's moving.
Yep. Whenever I get in an elevator, I always engage with the person. It's to get me out of my comfort zone too.
Yeah. It's also training you, because I had a manager tell me like a decade ago, maybe longer, when you get within 6 feet of someone, warm them up.
You have.
He said, practice that, and you'll get really good at sales.
100%.
If you can do that, you'll become a master. And it's weird. I'll be walking down an aisle in a grocery store, and I'm like, I didn't say anything. Like, I'll catch myself, right? Because it's so ingrained in me now.
It's ingrained because I think because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's uncomfortable.
Well, when everybody thinks I'm going to say the wrong thing, I'm going to look like an idiot. It's like they don't know me anyway. Who cares?
Right.
Or they may find it hilarious.
So one of the things that I've found is it's so uncomfortable, and is when somebody doesn't have a name badge on, asking them for their name. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to be uncomfortable. So I'm laying it out there, but it's so awesome.
Do you say like, hey, I'm Greg, what's your name? Or how do you approach that?
I just ask them what their name is.
Cool.
Hey, let me ask you a question. What's your name? Just
boom.
Let me ask you a question. What's your name?
Boom.
And you'll have somebody stop for a second, like.
They like that though.
But some are weirded out.
Okay.
Some are weirded out. Some are weirded out. So
it's a random stranger.
Correct. So like so like. But they'll always say it.
Yeah.
But then guess what? You got to repeat it back.
Is that something you would? I've seen you do that to the waitress at the sushi joint before, by the way. Mm-hmm. Right, just up the street, Haruno. I've seen you do that. Yep. And
but I'll do it.
And she was in a horrible mood. I thought she was going to break down at the table. And before you know it, Greg's got her smiling and laughing. He said her name 4,000 times, and it's like he's built a connection with this chick. And I'm over here thinking they need to fire her. Well, but what's funny is Greg went out of his way to help her, and I guarantee she had a better day after he left, which was really cool because I learned something that moment. I'm like, dude, I'm thinking, I'm always recruiting when I'm local at restaurants. Yep. So I'm like, yeah, I would never hire this chick. This is horrible, right? What is going on? Well, she had a lot going on personally in her life.
You don't know what's going on.
I just need to be human and realize, hey, it's not always perfect, 100%. And so you went out of your way to really help her have a better day, which is really cool, by the way. It's a big lesson there.
Yep.
And I liked you ever since, by the way.
Even when somebody's opened the door for you.
Yeah.
Don't just say thank you. Ask them what their name is.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because that's where I'm talking about the awkwardness is. So I'm just holding the door open for you.
Yes.
And we're walking out. What do we normally say? Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Yeah.
I'll go a step further. Hey, Matt, I appreciate that. I said, well, what's your name? Steven. Thanks, Steven. Man, it was great meeting you.
Do you think people are awkward because they're like, is this person trying to sell me something in a second? Or like, what's going on? Like that, like they do get a slightly defensive if it's like a stranger asking for their name. I don't know why, but
because I think it's two things. I think
Yeah.
I think you hit the nail on the head. What is this person trying to sell me?
Yep.
Okay. But I think the other reason is because nobody does it. Nobody does it.
Yep.
So if nobody does it, it's different. It's awkward.
It's true.
It's not. It's it's not. I don't have a name badge on. So think about if somebody were to come up to me and I'm holding the door for somebody.
Yeah.
I'm holding the door for you, and you're walking out and you go, hey, thank you. I say, hey, well, what's your name? It's Greg. Thanks, Greg. It was nice meeting you. Have a good day. Oh, you too, man. Have a good day. But I might even do that.
Yeah.
I might do because nobody does that for me. When I hold the door open, somebody doesn't say, hey, what's your name? Like, hey, thank you. Hey, thank you. You're welcome. Goodbye. But that's where, guess what ends up happening? We live in a transactional state of mind.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to be in a transactional state of mind. I'm trying to be in a
It's
relationship.
just trained. You're doing the same thing instead of changing up the flow a little bit. That's
Correct.
cool.
So
Dude, how good has this been, by the way, those who are listening? Because I could talk to you all day. This has been phenomenal. My pilot's texted me about the plane I'm fixing to go jump on to Nashville. How can they? How can they learn more about you? Have you got the book, Sell the Problem, Not the Solution?
So I've got the book, Sell the Problem, Not the Solution, on Amazon. So go on Amazon, just type in
YouTube channel.
I have a growing YouTube channel right now called Medicare Rockstar. So go on, go on to YouTube, type in Medicare Rockstars, and then subscribe to the channel.
You're gonna be doing an event next year.
Yep.
Most likely. Put it out there.
And then they can join my Facebook group as well, Medicare Rockstar. So again, I know you deal with a lot of insurances, so it's not just Medicare. It's I'm really focusing more on the sales side of it because the sales side. So let me end with this because I mentioned it during the conversation. Is that because we're talking about phone sales, and I want to leave on a high note on the phone sales. So my life changed in phone sales with what I call get off the roof. Okay. And here's what happened. When I got out of college, I started selling for the online education for architects and engineers. Okay. And so back then, everybody went to conferences. You had to go 3 or 4 days at a stuffy hotel room to listen to boring speakers talk about architect and engineering stuff to satisfy your units. Now we can do our 24 hours in a couple minutes online.
Right.
Okay. So this was kind of like the new evolution of being able to do it online, not doing it through a conference. And so some people it was still new to them. Okay. Yeah. So I remember talking to this individual and he picks up the phone. He was a Florida contractor. We have this great conversation. And at that time we're taking credit cards so I asked him for his credit card and he goes, you're going to have to call me back later. My credit card is in my car.
Oh man.
Okay. So all of us, he said, I'm sorry, back up a second. He says, I'm on a roof right now. He goes, you're going to have to call me back later. My credit card's in my car. We just talked about heights. So I'm sitting there going, whoa, time out. My mind all of a sudden said, time out. You're on a roof right now, and you answered a phone call for somebody you didn't know, and you spent the entire time talking to said individual on the phone and didn't hang up. I'm like, I would have never answered this phone call. If it wasn't my spouse or somebody I knew, I'm not answering the phone on a roof. I'm going to wait till I get off the roof and find out what that was. Or I'll wait for a voicemail if it was an emergency from somebody. Right. But I'm not going to answer the phone and then have a whole conversation on top of a roof.
That's insane.
But I never knew that he was on the roof. So when he said that to me, my brain went, wait a minute. You're on a roof? You've been talking to me this entire time on a roof? No. This ain't going down like this. So literally words came out of my mouth. I said, next thing I said, do me a favor. I always like that line, do me a favor. Yeah, because everybody wants to do people favors.
Yeah, it's good.
Do me a favor. Go to the edge of the roof. Climb down that ladder. I gave him like step-by-step instructions. It was hilarious. Looking back now, this is exactly how it went. Get to the edge of the roof. Climb down your ladder. Go to your car and grab your credit card and let's get this done. And I shut my mouth. Literally everybody in the call center, there was about 12 people there. I literally almost like the whack-a-mole. They all popped their head out.
It's one of these Belfort moments.
Yeah, it was a Belfort.
Selling those penny stocks.
It was an absolute Belfort moment. So you're 100% correct. Everybody's looking. I could hear the whispers. Did Greg just tell somebody to get off the roof? Did that just happen? And I'm sitting in my mind, did you just say that? I'm like, yeah, And he comes back and he goes, did you just tell? And the tone of voice gets angry. Did you just tell me to get off the roof? And I said, that's exactly what I told you to do. I said, you need a break right now, but more importantly, you need to get this thing done. I said, get down there, get your credit card. I said, by the time you get home tonight, I said, this will all be loaded into your system. I said, if you have any questions, call me. I'll send you an email as well. But let's get this done now. And I shut my mouth. And the next words, which sound like minutes, hold on 1 second. And went and got it. And that phone call changed my life.
Yes.
Because I'm like, you know what? get off the roof.
Yeah.
If somebody spent the time on the phone, do everything you can to get them off that roof.
Yes.
But most agents would go, oh, we had a great conversation. Oh, yeah, no problem. Let me call you back at 2:00.
You know what that makes me think of? Something I used to teach on was you ask early, but you tell late, right? And what you just did is you told.
No, because
you didn't ask, which I love.
Because my mind was like, you know what? In 2 hours, you're going to forget who I am.
Yeah, we got to have guts to do that because that's so good.
Because he might start rationalizing his head. You know what? I don't want to do this online stuff. You know, I'll just go to another conference. You know what? Maybe I'll do it next time. Our brain starts doing that, and then he never answers the phone. He calls or call him back. He goes, no, I thought about it, man. I got my boys are going to this conference.
There's a good
go.
chance of that.
100% chance. You know, and I wouldn't be surprised about it. But here's where the mindset goes even further.
Yep.
Did I save that guy's life?
No.
We don't know.
Maybe.
Because maybe, and I don't know if I talk about it in the book or not, but maybe that was the last straw for his wife. Maybe him going to that conference, like he'd just been away from her or the family so long that was it. Like that was the last straw. And I just saved a marriage. I don't know. Maybe he was going to go to that conference and cheat on his wife. And she found out. That ended a marriage. The possibilities are endless, but that's where your mind goes. That's where you're like, no, this is the right thing for you to do. The time is now. You have me on the phone. We got to get this done right now.
Yes.
And it's not like trying to bully somebody because you got the right thing for them.
Yeah.
And that's it. So that's my get off the roof story, and we can kind of leave it at that. But
get off the roof is going to get us off the podcast.
Get off the roof.
I love that.
We're going to get off the podcast right now.
I love that.
So thanks, Cody. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Greg. Okay, love it. Check out Greg Gurbikian. Thank you for listening to another CA Power Players podcast, dropping every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. I can't promise the next guest will be as good as Greg, but either way, we'll see you on the next one. If you love this video, you know I got another one that you're going to love. I got a video just to your right here. Click on that. It's going to be amazing. You're going to love it, and I'll see you there. Hey, we normally don't show you this. Okay, I'm about to show you some behind-the-scenes footage of our Rising Star training that we do every single week. Okay, so we get a lot of questions about this.